But first, back to our top story, the Las Vegas shooting. Here with me right now, former member of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, Steve Rogers, along with criminal defense attorney David Bruno. Good to have you both here. Steve, starting with you, what do you think about sort of all the confusion over this timeline? Are they perhaps going to square away some of that today?
Well, I believe they are. I think what has happened, Trish, is the police were so eager to get the information out, to be transparent, to ensure that they would prevent these so-called conspiracy theories. But what happened here was that the information came out so rapidly, it wasn't, and we know that now, wasn't that accurate.
Well, rapidly, I don't know as it came out that rapidly, because we're still sitting here saying, what the heck happened? What was the motive? And nobody's been able to piece that together yet.
Well, you're right. The motive has got everyone scratching their heads. And that's something that they're going to have to get drilled down to very shortly. But when I say rapidly, I mean from the day this happened, the sheriff was on the air almost every day, providing updates for the public. What happened here was they probably didn't corroborate a lot of what they put out, and now they find themselves boxed in.
You know, I don't entirely get it, because, you know, if you are a casino and you have all those cameras everywhere, shouldn't you know a little bit about, you know, what the timing might be? I mean, how is it that it could be that the timing from the casino, Mandalay Bay, didn't add up to the timing that the Vegas police had?
Well,
yeah, Steve.
Sometimes, Trish, what happens is there's so many people involved in an investigation, and I'm only surmising what could have happened here. The sheriff was in charge, but who was in charge on the field? Did the information get to him in a timely manner? Was all this information actually checked out before it was sent out? It seems like right now that a lot of this wasn't checked out before the sheriff put it out. Now, that's not to say they didn't do a good job. They did. But when it came to disseminating information to the public, before they did that, all of this information, and especially this timeline, should have been checked out. I tend to believe that sometimes we go too fast and we give too much out. They obviously did not want to compromise the investigation, but look what happened here.
David, you're an attorney. We've already seen that some people are filing suits against MGM, which owns Mandalay Bay. Do they have a case here? Should MGM have done more to protect them?
This timing question is critical when it comes to that analysis on what they should have done, whether or not they were neglectful in protecting the public. Because there's a huge difference between a 40-second delay, and that's what MGM is saying. They came out yesterday and said, no, the police timeline is wrong. It's not 6 minutes. It's at the very most 40 seconds from the shooting of the security officer to the shooting out into the public. So when you're analyzing the delay in what MGM and Mandalay Bay did, that's going to be critical. Then there's other questions about what they knew, what they should have known. I mean, you have an individual bringing in large amounts of ammunition and firearms into that hotel. He had a do not disturb sign on the door for a significant period of time. And we know from hearing from other hotel owners that that's a red flag and potentially something that a hotel should look at.
So from a legal liability standpoint, by the way, I do want to point out, shares of MGM, since this has happened, if we can show you, they have tanked roughly 8%, 8 and change. Clearly, this is not good for shareholders. There are a lot of concerns about what it would mean to their future business, to revenues at that hotel, but also what it means to their liabilities that they might in fact incur. David, you bring up something important. The fact that he was able to get all of these firearms into his hotel room with nobody noticing. I mean, did you take him up through the freight elevator? Nobody had that on camera. How could that be?
Right. Those are questions that need to be answered. And when these lawsuits are filed, there's going to be a discovery process to learn all of this information. And they're going to have the ability to depose individuals and get all of the video and records from this investigation. And these questions will be answered at some point. Once a suit is filed, then the litigants, the plaintiffs, have very many ways to get all of this information that we are asking.
Now, Steve, we're still asking, though, what the motive was. Are we going to find out ever? I mean, do you think that they'll be able to actually determine what motivated this guy to do such a horrific act? Actually, hang on. We do have the press conference.